Okay, today I'm going to get into the top 5 problems with 55 plus communities. Now, I know right now there are a lot of movies going out there that feature 55 plus communities. I think a lot are based on the Villages down in Florida, which is like 55 plus on steroids. We don't really have that here in Arizona, but we do have some that are good size. But what these movies portray is generally a really happy, upbeat scene. They all get together, they become cheerleaders, everybody's friends, and they're all happy, and the end. Probably some of that goes on. Sun City does even have a cheerleading group, but that's not reality any more than any other movie is reality. They're just playing to people who want to see something on a screen. So let's talk about the top 5 things I see that might irritate you. I don't think any of them are going to stop you from moving to a 55 plus community, but I want to make you aware that it's not as perfect as the TV commercials, the movies, the brochures portray to you. Now, again, talking about brochures, you see all these happy people, and a lot of people think, oh, if I can just move to my 55 plus community, life is going to be perfect. I'm going to be so happy. Well, guess what? If you're not happy now, moving to a community is not going to make you happier. You have to be a happy person. There are a lot of activities, there are things to do, but if you're a negative, unhappy person who always stays in the house, the community is not going to make the difference for you. Now, having said all that, you might find that with all of the cool things to do in a 55 plus community, you are happier. Maybe you live in a state that has a harsh winter and you're stuck inside, especially during COVID, by yourself. That won't be the case here. We have lots of outdoor activities, indoor things, rec centers, various pools, pickleball, you name it, we have it. So that will increase your happiness quotient. It's, again, not a magic pill, but you might find your mood elevated from being so active. Now, this is a fun one. You need to know you're going to be with a lot of people who just flat out have too much time on their hands. Now, in a 55 plus community, if you choose, there are things you could be doing all day, every day. Some people don't make that choice. Those tend to be the nitpickers, the people who are all up in your business. They know every time somebody comes and goes. They know if you had friends over last night or if somebody spent the night. They know, and they'll come over and let you know that they know. So be aware there are those people just like they have them in regular neighborhoods. Think back to Bewitched with Gladys Kravitz, who would come over and pretend to borrow a cup of sugar just to kind of peer into the house and see what was going on. She was a busybody. She needed to join some clubs and learn how to play pickleball, and Gladys would have been a lot happier. So be aware that we do have those people in a 55 plus community because they're retired. They don't have anything else to do sometimes. Now, these people could be busy if they would only get involved in one of the many community clubs or classes. There's also lots of volunteer activities inside and outside the gates. So if you need something to do, I can help you plug in. There are food banks that need your help, pet shelters that need your help, lots and lots of places that would like the assistance of a qualified person to even work just a few hours a week and give their gift of time and their talents. So if that's you, let me know and I'll help you get plugged in. Now let's get super real. For those of us who are single, if you're thinking that you can magically move to a 55 plus area and with all the activity meet the new love of your life, might be more challenging than you think if you're a woman. Now, if you're a man, you can have your pick. So you might want to choose one of these areas. Ladies outnumber men 3-1, but it's not some magic pill to find the love of your life. Yes, you can meet people, both of the same sex, the opposite sex. Just get involved and see who you come across. But don't think that 30 minutes after moving in, you're going to be finding the love of your life. Might happen, but it's really not that much different than it is where you're coming from. You're just going to have more activities, so it might increase the odds of you finding somebody, but don't think it's a guarantee. Now, the biggest con, I would guess, I don't like to use that word con, it's like we're conning you, but pros and cons. The biggest con is, I see, it's the HOA. And it tends to be a little more advanced in a 55 plus community because you have the overall HOA management company that takes care of all of the day-to-day things. They collect the dues, they pay the maintenance people for the groundskeeping, the golf course, whatever amenities you have. They handle the finances and the legalities. But then you're going to have an HOA board. Now, HOA boards, especially when you're dealing with people who have too much time on their hands, can be problematic. Not always, but you just need to know, again, they're the people who knew if your garage door was up too long and they called you about it. Those are the kind of people that typically volunteer to be on the board. Think back to when maybe you were younger at a different phase of life and you had to deal with a PTA president. They're always some kind of little nitpicker, and they grow up, they become 55, and they become the HOA president. Those are the same people, just a different venue. They love to enforce the rules, which often is good, but sometimes they might take it a little too far. And they like to spend money because it's not their money. Now, a lot of it is for the good of the community. They want to make sure that it's well maintained, but it's been my experience personally in my last HOA that they're always maybe over maintaining. Again, bored people do things like that. So just know that that is a thing in these communities. It's just the reality of life. Doesn't mean it's a bad thing, but maybe you can get involved on the HOA board and provide some levity, or maybe you just want to ignore it altogether and just go with the flow. So the next thing you want to think about if you're in a 55 plus community year round is that we do have a lot of snowbirds, and during the summer they fly north to where they have another house to get out of the heat. So if you're somebody who's kind of an activity addict and you like to always be going and doing, just be ready that it's going to slow down a little bit during those hot summer months. Now, the upside to that is much easier to get a table at a restaurant, much easier to get a golf tee time, and if you're really into golf, it's super cheap in the summer. So pros and cons there, but for my friends who are really into all of the activities, plan on things being just a little bit slower in the summer months. So these are just the top 5 problems that I see. Not big problems, but things I want to make you aware of when moving to a 55 plus area in Arizona. Lots of different places to live. And so if you'd like more information on 55 plus communities, be sure to reach out to me at the number below on the screen or simply send me an email. I love hearing from you guys. As I said before, it's so much fun to hear from a YouTube family. So be sure to reach out to me, and I'll see you again soon.